A principle that they teach in law school is do not ask a witness a question you don't already know the answer to, at least in trial. Now, in depositions, it might be a good idea to go ahead and ask, but in a trial, stick to questions you're pretty sure you already know how they're going to answer. So, the most famous example of that is that Clarence Darrow was defending a man for malicious mischief, biting off the ear of an opponent. And so a witness was on the stand testifying that he'd seen this person, seen the defendant do it. And Clarence Darrow got the witness to admit no, he hadn't actually seen the defendant bite off the ear. So then Clarence Darrow had it at that point. He should have shut up and sat down. But instead, he had to ask, well, then why are you sitting there telling the jury that you saw my client bite off the man's ear? And the witness says, well, I saw him spit it out. So I had this guy that was charged with thumping on his wife. And the city of Richland had a definition of assault that was faulty. It was a bad definition. See, an assault should be any form of insulting or threatening touching or indirect touching. So the example given in the law textbook is that the defendant sees the victim at a big fancy potluck dinner, and he hates the sumbitch, so he goes over and smacks the bottom of the victim's plate, throwing food all over the victim. Now, that's an indirect, he never actually touched the victim. And he didn't cause any physical injury, but the whole point of many laws is to keep the peace and keep people from settling their own scores. And in this case, you don't want the victim starting a fist fight over having food thrown all over himself and his dress clothes. Okay, so the city of Richland's definition, though, was that it had to be a touching with intent to cause injury. Completely insufficient. And so the complaining witness is my client's wife, and she's telling, I see everything that she's going to say in the police report. So at the end of her testimony, it's my turn to question her, and I say, now, when my client pushed a heavy dresser in front of the door so you could not get out, did he intend to hurt you? No, he just didn't want me going out. And when you went in the bathroom and started screaming at your neighbor to call the police for help, and he was pulling on your arm to get you out of the bathroom, did he intend to hurt you? No, he just didn't want me screaming out the window. And when he slammed the window down and smashed your fingers, it hurt her pretty bad. Did he intend to hurt you? No, that was an accident. He just didn't want me yelling out the window. Stupid Nathan says, well, where in any of that did he do anything where he intended to hurt you? And she says, well, when he knocked me down on the floor and he kicked me. Well, that wasn't in the police report. So I look at my client and he gives me this shit-eating grin, Later, the judge tells me, Nathan, if you just would have shut up, you had the case won at that point. You just had to ask that Clarence Darrow one question too many.